Yo, what's up? What's happening, everybody? That's right. The Midweek Report, June 26, 2024. We have like I said, a very busy weekend here in boxing. Very busy weekend in boxing this weekend. We got a lot of fights here that's coming up. Of course, I've been talking about what's happening over in Washington, D.C. on Friday night. We also have two fight cards that's going to be on Saturday night. Of course, you have us happening with Juan Francisco Estrada and Bam Rodriguez, right? And then we also have Teofimo Lopez defending his WBO super lightweight title against Steve Claggett over in Miami Beach. So we have a very busy weekend here. We're going to be trying to get through as much as we can here on the Midweek Report, previewing a number of these fights, particularly, of course, the main events that's going on Friday and Saturday night, right? And then also, if we can, we'll touch on a few other, fights that are, part of the weekend, right? So we want to get into, let's see, what are we going to do first, man? What are we going to do first? Hey, you see the thing on the title, man. We got Juan Francisco Estrada versus Jesse Bam Rodriguez there. Of course, that is for the WBC Super Flyweight title. And shout out to Jesus M in the building, man. He says, Juan Francisco Estrada versus Bam Rodriguez will be a real fight, unlike Canelo fights. Estrada is what a true Mexico warrior. He said, fake Canelo. Oh, man. It's bad. Like, people are, really feel, it seems like people ain't really feeling Canelo, man, especially since I guess he doesn't look like he's facing David Benavidez next. But when it comes to this particular fight, definitely number of fight fans are waiting for it. He says Juan Francisco Estrada deserves a $30 million payday instead of Canelo Alvarez. Man. But yeah, we got a great bout here in the super flyweight division with Juan Francisco Estrada. Of course, he is the defending super flyweight champion. There, of course, he hasn't had a fight since 2022 when he had that bout against Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez. Man, and that was a really good close bout. Majority decision win by Juan Francisco Estrada over Chocolatito Gonzalez there in Glendale, Arizona. And, well, he's back in Arizona here in this fight against Jesse Bam Rodriguez. Like I said, with Bam Rodriguez, he has been the unified flyweight champion. He's also held at one point the WBC Super Flyweight Championship. He's had, scored the wins over Carlos Cuadras, stopped Srizaket Rangvasai, and had a win over Israel Gonzalez before going back down, right, to flyweight there and winning the flyweight belts there and having a unification bout, of course, against Sonny Edwards last year. So he's kind of like been one of those guys that's been a very talented fighter. This is just his 20th pro bout. He's coming in there 19-0 with 12 wins by way of knockout there, 24 years old, at 5'4" with a reach of 67. Juan Francisco Estrada is there at 5'4" with a reach of 66. Like I said, he hadn't been in the ring since his, bout against Chocolatito Gonzalez in 2022, but, he had been at some point one of those guys that was a top or a highly rated pound for pound fighter. Big ups to Jay Pylon in the building. Salute to you, man. If I'm not mistaken, I think it may be a particular special day here for you today. But thankful for you to come in here and be here with the Boxing Source, man. But I don't know if I think you may have had like an earlier video or post there. So if y'all can go ahead and check Jay Pylon. Of course, he's definitely into boxing and sports and has very good sports collection as far as like sports cars and all that type of stuff. Yeah, man. salute to you, man, on your birthday. Big ups to Jake Pylon. It is his birthday today, so happy birthday to Jake Pylon there, man. So yeah, back, I'm gonna get back on it, with this great bout coming up, of course, with Ben Rodriguez and Juan Francisco Estrada. I did pretty much give you the tail of the tape there. Said that Ben Rodriguez, of course, is undefeated. Hey, this is just going to be his 20th professional bout, and he's looking to be one of the guys to try to go after all of those notable fighters that we had seen in the super flyweight division over the years. Like I said, he has the wins over Srisaket Sorangvasai. He has a win over Carlos Cuadras. But there was, just about two, more people out there within that super flyweight division that, basically made a name for themselves there at super flyweight, and that's Chocolatito Gonzalez and Juan Francisco Estrada. So here you got Juan Francisco Estrada, probably could be rated as the top fighter there in the super flyweight division currently at this point. But you do have a number of other notable fighters there at super flyweight 115-pound division, including Kazuto Aoka and Kosei Tanaka. But Juan Francisco Estrada is definitely one of the more notable fighters out there in the super flyweight division. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's going to be a very, very good fight here with these two fighters. Now I didn't see here. I think that Estrada is like about 35. I think he's like 35 or something like that. I'm not all too sure. But you do have Jesse Ben Rodriguez at 24 years old, right? So he's definitely going to have age on his side here in this particular matchup. And he does have a reach advantage, but it's just a slight reach advantage there for him. I think with the bout they had against Sonny Edwards, he was able to stop Sonny Edwards there last year in a very good performance there. I think he was a lot faster than Sonny Edwards, and he really had some pop behind his punch there. Sonny Edwards really couldn't do that much against Ben Rodriguez in that particular fight. And of course, with Juan Francisco Estrada, he's had those, of course, the classic battles there with Chocolatito Gonzalez in 2021 and in 2022, right? But he also had faced Carlos Cuadras and Srisaket Sorangvasai, over the course of his professional career. He did have a couple wins over Cuadras and split. I think he split against Srisaket Sorangvasai. But I mean, you kind of like see there that these are like the two more established fighters, within the super flyweight division right now. And, this kind of like has been billed as one of the top fights, in the sport. So, definitely looking forward to, seeing what happens here in this particular bout. And I think, with Ben Rodriguez, I've had him, rated there in the Boxing Source pound for pound rankings. I think I, have him at like number 9. I might modify it a little bit here, at the end of the month. I hadn't really updated the pound for pound rankings in some time, but yeah, I have him at number 8 there, right above Kenshiro Taraji and right below Shakur Stevenson at number 7 there, so he is, kind of like quickly rising up the ranks there in the pound for pound. Some kind of like say that he might, fiddle within the 7 and 6 range, or so to speak, there. But it depends on what happens here against Juan Francisco Estrada if he's able to get that win there, because I'd say this would be a battle for the top spot within the super flyweight division. So definitely looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a good matchup there, but I really want to see what happens here with Juan Francisco Estrada, man. I mean, he's been there, been to the game for almost 16 years. It's coming up towards 16 years as a pro for Juan Francisco Estrada there, and yeah, he does have those decision losses to Srisaket Sorangvasai, Chocolatito Gonzalez there, but that Chocolatito fight that he lost. That was back in 2012, and his first loss was back in 2011. So it's been some time since he's fell short or been on the short end. There's been 6 years? Yeah, about 6 years there for Juan Francisco Estrada. He's had those string of victories, like I said, 2 against Chocolatito, 1 against Carlos Cuadras, and 1 against Rizakitsu Rungvisai included in that. So he's had a great run out there in the super flyweight division, up to this particular point. But it looks like they're saying that Bam Rodriguez is the next one up as far as like the superstar sorts in the super flyweight division. Jay Palan got his pick. He says that Juan Francisco Estrada looks ready for this particular bout, and that he has it as a 12-round split decision in favor of Juan Francisco Estrada. Oh man, that's a real real intriguing pick there. But hey, if y'all care, man, y'all gotta get y'all follow Jay Palan's page there. In reference to these fights coming up, or if he's if you check him out on some of these channels, because he's had some really interesting picks for fights there. What I'm saying, particularly with what happened there with that Tank versus Frank Martin, man. I mean, he's had a few intriguing decisions. Oh, the other one was that what was it? The Matias versus Paro. He had something there, man. He almost nailed that one. That was a really really good pick there, but he almost nailed that one, because I think it was he picked a draw for the Paro versus Matias. That one you almost got that one. That would have been crazy if you were able to nail that one. But yeah, that Estrada and Bam Rodriguez, it'll be something there if Estrada is able to pull it out. No, I didn't cover Sonny Edwards yet. He's part of that undercard. Of course, Sonny Edwards was I think he's supposed to be on that card or whatnot. But he has been working with Ben Rodriguez, in preparation, for these fights. I think he has something coming up, but I'm not all too sure, on that. But like I said, with that fight that Sonny Edwards and Bam Rodriguez had, man, that was a good little scrap, for as long as it was able to last. But it was just that Bam Rodriguez was just way too much for Sonny Edwards on that night, and yeah, Bam was able to just beat him up, over the course of 9 rounds or whatever it was, and then it ended up getting stopped there. So you had Bam Rodriguez basically get the win there to become a unified flyweight champion at that time last year, and he's kind of like established himself as, he had probably established himself as the top guy there in the flyweight division. And now he's, going to or back up to the super flyweight division, because like I was saying before, he had at one point held that WBC super flyweight title that Juan Francisco Estrada currently has, and had defended that particular title there a couple of times before going back down to flyweight to become a world champion at flyweight, and then unified world champion at flyweight. So definitely seeing him as one of those guys that you really have to watch out for in the super flyweight division. But he does have a great test here with Juan Francisco Estrada, of course, one of the most well-established super flyweights that we've had in recent memory. There, of course, a lot of people talk about Chocolatito Gonzalez and his come up and everything like that, and him becoming one of those guys that had been mentioned among the pound for pound rankings before he ended up having the bouts with Rizakitsu Rungvisai before facing Juan Francisco Estrada. So now you got Juan Francisco Estrada kind of like establishing himself as the pretty much like the main man, so to speak, there in the super flyweight division currently, particularly with that win over Chocolatito Gonzalez. I know that there's been some movement there in the super flyweight division since 2022, particularly like I mentioned there with Bam Rodriguez had winning the belt when Juan Francisco Estrada was, basically inactive, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, they had Juan Francisco Estrada as like the champion in recess, or the what do you call it, the franchise champion or something like that. There at super flyweight at one point before they had back as active or whatnot. So I say that this is going to be something real good here in this particular bout. He says Adrian Curiel, there that is going to get a win over Sonny Edwards. Oh man, hey, that would be something. That would definitely be something there. If you had that particular thing happen. I think I had to see something in reference to that particular bout. I gotta see what the details of that one is, or whatnot. He says that that's gonna be, yeah, that'll be intriguing there. I don't know, because with Sonny Edwards, of course, he has that record there of like 20 wins and then the lone loss to Ben Rodriguez, but he only has 4 wins by way of knockout. 4 wins by way of knockout. But Adrian Curiel, also is there with a record of 24 wins, 5 losses, and 1 draw, with 5 wins by way of knockout. So that's gonna be something. I don't know, man. Those would be some crazy odds there too. Yeah, but you are correct though, man. Edwards is not a KO artist at all. He just tries to outwork and outbox and out hustle his opponent. And then you got Adrian Curiel there that's had 2 wins by way of stoppage in his last few fights. So yeah, that's going to be really intriguing to see what happens there. But I had mentioned that Sonny Edwards had been doing some work with Ben Rodriguez here, as Rodriguez was preparing for Juan Francisco Estrada. Now you did have the thing there with Adrian Curiel, though, as he had been a world champion there in the light flyweight division. He did score like an upset of sorts last year against Sibanathi Nanshinga, getting a KO victory there, and then they had a rematch just 3 months later, and Nanshinga ended up stopping him within 10 rounds. So that'll be intriguing there if Curiel is able to get this win here over Sonny Edwards. I mean, he had been there in the light flyweight division, so I think this one here is going to be at flyweight, where Sonny Edwards is been established, so to speak. You know what I mean? So we're gonna see how how that happens there. But yeah, that fight had pretty much had just been added to the card. They're over at the the Footprint Center. They're in Phoenix, Arizona, downtown Phoenix. So pretty good card that we're gonna get. I'm gonna get at the dude, the box rec guy, because he didn't even add that fight with Sonny Edwards and Adrian Curiel on this total card here. That's gonna be on the zone on Saturday night. So you do have like a good solid fight card there, from Matchroom Boxing and things like that. So definitely wanted to go over those fights. I'm gonna see here, man. I'm gonna drop this link here, whatnot. I don't know if anyone that's currently live here is willing to join in on the boxing conversation here real quick. But like I said, we got a real busy week. Definitely a busy week here in boxing. As I mentioned before, I'm going to go over to the fight card on Friday. That's going to be on ProBox TV. So y'all that not necessarily in the Washington D.C. area, y'all are going to be able to see those fights on ProBox TV. They're going to be starting it off at 5 p.m. There on YouTube. So you should be able to go on that ProBox TV channel on YouTube and be able to, check it out. You know what I'm saying? So that's going to be, really nice there, because I said it's going to be really, really busy, man. I'm going to, be around that. They're going to have the press conference there for the Roach versus McCrory tomorrow. And then the fight's going to be on Friday. So, definitely going to, look forward to that here coming up. You know what I'm saying? But let's see here, man. Wanted to, get into the next joint here, but yeah. You could go ahead and jump in if you want to, Jay. If you want to continue to, continue this conversation or join in this conversation, we got, a lot of stuff going on here in boxing. You got like fights tomorrow through Golden Boy Boxing, and like I said, Friday you have the Pro Box TV presentation. You got fights on the zone as well with OTX Boxing, Overtime Boxing on Friday night. And then Saturday, like I said, you got Top Rank with their, fight card we're going to be talking about here in a little bit. And, as I mentioned here with Matchroom Boxing there. And then also, hopefully if I have some time here, I'll also talk about, one announcement that happened, earlier today here that you'll have a really intriguing bout in the heavyweight division in September. And that they're like I've been, covering the boxing game for some time around here. And there's, one thing that I have not done yet. That I've kind of like thought about it, and I'm seriously considering going to that fight in September. I'm seriously considering going to that fight in September, man. So within the, next couple weeks or so, you know what? I'm gonna see if I'm gonna go ahead and make that trip. I got to be able to do it at least one time. Especially around this particular period, I should be able to do it at least one time, because I don't want to go ahead and wait until a certain event that might happen out there in the UK, because the biggest bout in the UK in heavyweight, the heavyweight bout in the UK, I'm not sure if that's going to happen, man. So you might as well just see about trying to make one good event there once. So that's what I'm looking towards doing there. But yeah, Jay, man, if you're able to do it, you can come on here for a few, what I'm saying, and jump in the conversation. But also, anyone else that's willing to join in on the boxing conversation, you go ahead and do that. I'm seeing here if we have like other guests here that's willing to jump on as well, before I go into the whole thing with Teofimo Lopez and Steve Claggett, right? Because you had that thing there with Teofimo. He's going to be defending his WBO super lightweight title there against Steve Claggett. Steve Claggett, I think, is there around the number 10 in the WBO rankings. There at 140 pounds. Yep, number 10, at least currently there, because I haven't checked if they've updated the WBO rankings yet. But this is something here with Teofimo Lopez, man. I mean, he, of course, had his performances against Jermaine Ortiz there, where, a lot of people felt like that was a really disappointing fight. Really disappointing fight. You had Jermaine Ortiz that looked like he was outboxing Teofimo Lopez there for a little bit, but also didn't look like he was at times engaging with Teofimo Lopez, and that was just something where it was supposed to be a feature bout for Teofimo, and he just didn't look all too impressive. It was almost like his bout against Sandor Martin, in Heisman weekend. There in 2022 there against Sandor Martin. But after having that fight against Sandor Martin, he had one of the better performances in his career against Josh Taylor to win the WBO super lightweight title. So maybe this is something where it's like, okay, he has like a pretty questionable performance. Then he performs out of this world, and then another questionable performance against Jermaine Ortiz, and then maybe he has a great showing here against Steve Claggett. Now you had what it was, with Teofimo, having that bout against Nakatani back in 2019, where it looked like he was, not performing all too well, and then he turns around and has a second round knockout of Richard Coleman, and also has that performance against Vasyl Lomachenko too, to become unified champion at 135 there at that point. But right now here at 140, given the whole turnaround of what's happening in the 140-pound division, of course, you talked about the thing there with Devin Haney being champion in recess. You had the thing there with Alberto Puello being named full champion after that close decision over Gary Antoine Russell. I still didn't think about the fight. And then you also had the thing there, like I mentioned before, with Liam Perro being the winner over Subriel Matias to become the new IBF champion there at 140 pounds. And yes, you do have Isaac Cruz, who defeated Rolly Romero for the WBA title a couple months back. So there's been a whole lot of turnaround there at 140 pounds, here this year. So this is something with Teofimo Lopez where he got to, watch out there. Jesus M says, "Are you going to the Crawford card?" Hopefully I am, August 3rd. There at the BMO Stadium in Los Angeles. Hopefully, it's up in the air though. It's up in the air because, being I kind of like said this before, like being in the East Coast, going to these fights in the West Coast, these fight cards in the West Coast, man, it gets draining at times. Like, I mean, you have like, I kind of like mentioned it before. There's been, multiple, well-established, media folks there that are based in the East Coast that, continuously goes to the West Coast to these fights in Las Vegas and Los Angeles or whatever it is. And I'm like, man, that it gets to be training at times. There was one year I was, it was last year, man. Last year I went to Vegas 3 times, 3 times last year. I'm like, man, it's definitely crazy. I mean, and I was, out there for, Canelo. Actually, Canelo's past 2 fights. The one against, the one that he had there against Jaime Munguia, and then the previous one there against Jermell Charlo. I was at both of those fight cards. So, and it's definitely something to have those 4.5, 5-hour flights, to get out there and then to deal with the time change. So. But that card, you have like a good number of notable fighters on that card. I had thought that you would have had Virgil Ortiz versus Tim Tszyu on that card, but that ended up getting removed. And then now you had the whole thing with Virgil Ortiz. Now that's going to be fighting Sergey Bohachuk in his own fight card the following weekend. Man, they could have had that. They could have been able to fit that on that August 3rd card. I think there were a number of fight fans that were looking forward to seeing Virgil Ortiz on that card, regardless if it was going to be up against Tim Tszyu or another opponent there at the 154-pound division. And the fight with Sergey Bohachuk is still a good fight. He's there. What is the WBC interim champion? I think it is. So. I think that's going to be a good scrap between Bohachuk and Virgil Ortiz there, but it's going to be on its own card there for Golden Boy Promotions on August 10th. It's supposed to be scheduled for August 10th, but yeah, for the August 3rd card, I'm going to see if I could go ahead and make that. And speaking of the thing there with Terrence Crawford, I'm going to see if I could lock down a conversation with his head trainer. Brian Bomack McIntyre sometime next week. So I'm working on that as well. You know what I'm saying? So you do have that. What else is going? Oh yeah, let's get back into it, man. So let's talk about the whole thing there with Teofimo Lopez and Steve Claggett. Teofimo Lopez is there, they say, quote unquote, the takeover at 26 years old, at 5'8" with a reach of 68.5. Of course, he has 20 wins, 13 of them by way of knockout. The lone loss, of course, to George Kambosos Jr., which, you know, a lot of people to this day can't believe that he lost to George Kambosos Jr. And he's going up against Steve Claggett. Steve Claggett is there out of Canada. You know, he's at Calgary, Alberta, Canada. You know, of course, you know, Bret Hart, you know, the Hart Foundation, all that type of stuff, whatever it is, y'all like wrestling. He has a record of 38 wins, 7 losses, and 2 draws with 26 wins by way of knockout. He is listed at 5'8" with a reach of 70 inches there. He's had, you know, a string of victories since May of 2021. May of 2021 was his last loss by split decision to Mathieu Germain. But he's had, of course, a majority of his fights over in Canada. They're particularly like in Montreal or whatnot. But yeah, he faced or defeated. He handed up Petros Ananyan his first professional loss back in 2018. Those who, you know, follow, you know, what's going on at 140-pound division, Petros Ananyan, you know, at the time, or at least before, you know, the past weekend, he was the only fighter that give Super Matias a loss up until, you know, what happened to Super Matias against Liam Parrow, right? But, you know, Matias was able to avenge that loss to Petros Ananyan. Now, who knows if Super Matias is going to be able to have a rematch with Liam Parrow to see if he could avenge that loss and get that IBF title back. But that, you know, that's a whole nother story. But, you know, here with Steve Claggett there, like I said, he's ranked number 10 in the WBO rankings, or at least, you know, from up to the particular point that I've seen it. And like I said, he's had a string of victories here since, you know, 2021. You know, his last couple of bouts, he defeated Marcos Barraza pretty much by stoppage. That was an 8-round bout in January, and fought Miguel Madueño in November of last year, right? Madueño actually is supposed to be fighting Keyshawn Davis next weekend. So, you know, that's kind of interesting there. That you pretty much could have a common opponent there for Keyshawn Davis, in reference to him and Steve Claggett there real quick. But yeah, you know, when you see that, I don't think, you know, that many people have really heard much about Steve Claggett at all. He's there at 35 years old as well. So you're gonna have, you know, a 9-year age thing there. You know what I'm saying? But real quick though, just joining in is the man, the birthday man, you know, coming in here, of course. Like I said, he has been a guest here on the Boxing Source before. Great conversation here with boxing. You can check out his channel on YouTube. You know, self-titled. You know, he's, you know, a collector of you know, multiple games and cards and comics and all that type of stuff. And also he's an artist too, man. He got music videos, he be singing and all that type of stuff. You got to check out his videos too, man. Y'all welcome Jay Pylon, man. What's going on with you?
Salute to the chat. Appreciate you, JR, for a fantastic, you know, introduction over here. Good looking out. The Boxing Source. Make sure you guys hit that like, that thumbs up. If you're new here, please subscribe. Man, you know about Claggett. You know what's crazy? You know those boxing simulators? There's a couple of video game boxing simulators, but they've got this new game system about to come out, or not game system, but this new game for the systems. It's going to be a boxing game. I think it's called Undisputed.
Oh yeah. They're gonna have the full game pretty much releasing pretty soon. Now I've had the beta version, you know, almost since it's pretty much been released there. But
I'm excited.
But I'm looking forward to them having
I'm gonna have it on the PS4. But I wanted to say about Claggett. Somebody ran him through the boxing simulator, and I'm not sure if they use what program they were using, but they had him a surprise knockout win with the game. I don't think that will happen, but I love the fact that the simulator was simulating something funny like that. So
yeah.
But no, I don't think that Claggett will win. What do you say? He was 35 right now. He's getting
35 years old.
All right, that'll be his one epic comeback, huh? If he gets this knockout like the simulation was predicting. but I don't think that will happen. And once looking over, Sonny Edwards, I don't know, he might have it, but he's not a KO artist, and he usually sticks around for a while in the ring. So I was giving it to Feargal for it. That's what I'm thinking that he's going to be able to get this. His last couple fights were where he dropped the 2 previous fighters, then he went the distance with the 1. So this could be the 4th man that he gets like a knockdown with. Maybe we'll wait to see.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting one because the thing with Feargal, he was able to get that like I said, that KO win there against Nanshinga for the IBF light flyweight title, and I think a number of people were kind of surprised about that one. So I like to see how he performs here after losing in the rematch to Nanshinga there at light flyweight, and then coming up to flyweight here against Sonny Edwards. But the thing about it is that some fight fans kind of downplay those divisions because you have it to where you could have fight at 105 and then the next division up is 108 and then the next division up is 112. So it's only like a 7-pound difference between 3 divisions. So
the weight for you isn't going to be an issue for Edwards?
No, I don't think. Now it would be in reference to Feargal, because Feargal would be the one moving up to face Sonny Edwards here in this particular case. It's supposed to be there in the flyweight division where.
Oh, okay. So he didn't have to move any.
Former world champion there before losing to Ben Rodriguez in that unification bout last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's going to be something. But actually, they going into the whole thing with the betting joint, they kind of lean towards Sonny Edwards at minus 400, and they got Feargal at plus 295, over in DraftKings. So that's going to be something because like you said, Sonny Edwards isn't necessarily a guy that really has that much pop behind his punch at all.
Not at all, not in the least bit. He only has the 4 KOs, and I think that was. I'd have to go back in the boxing record to see where he even got those 4 KOs. The 20-1 that he has is pretty solid. But Feargal's been he's a little bit more aggressive. He does have that little bit of a pop to his, and he seems like he's just been getting a little bit better lately. Maybe he's been a little bit more, hungry for it. When he stunned the champ with that KO, that right was it right hand in the second round? Was that it?
Yeah, he was that right hand that caught Nanshinga there, man.
He got him. Yeah, so. Despite the rematch, I think it was in February. Despite that, I think that Feargal's got a little bit more pop, and I don't know that Edwards. will. We'll have to see how he adjusts to it.
Yeah, and coming back from that loss to Ben Rodriguez, where he ended up just getting beat up, by Ben Rodriguez over the course of those eight or so rounds. There where I thought he was like he had like some good moments there for those first few rounds, but then he pretty much got totally outclassed after that, and that just ended up being really a bad situation for him there at that particular point there leading to that stoppage. So I'd like to see how he comes off of that here against Adrian Feargal and how he'll turn off from that particular fight, because coming off of a loss, especially something of that caliber in a big fight that he had there against Ben Rodriguez, you might have a response where maybe you don't take punches that well anymore, or you might not have the movement that you used to have. So that's going to be intriguing to see there from Sonny Edwards, particularly since they had kind of like just added this fight to the card recently.
Yeah, but I saw Edwards. What was it? The zone preview, and he was talking with Eddie Hearn, and I mean it's all been looking pretty interesting. So June 29th, right?
Yep, June 29th.
Down. Hey, I don't know if you spoke on it or not, but RIP, prayers up to Roy Jones Jr., who lost his son, Andre Jones, at 32.
Yeah.
I just found out about that last night.
Yeah, it was, by Yeah, that was just a sad thing there, man. Because you know, they pretty much like came out of nowhere, so to speak, and we see those, like, sometimes those things happen, and it's like you just don't understand it, as far as like how like some people like get to that particular point. So I know it's like really really hurting Roy Jones Jr. here right now at this particular point, and
Yeah. Yeah, thoughts are
him.
with you, Roy Jones, man. Get
Yeah,
back. What a fighter Jones Jr. was in the ring.
yeah,
At
oh
that
yeah,
when he had that super middleweight, that seemed like the perfect weight for him to
yeah,
where like he could not be stopped at it. Nobody
yeah.
could touch him at super middleweight.
Yep, he was like the most dominant super middleweight, probably the greatest super middleweight ever. Well,
Probably
easily a
of
super
all, yeah,
middleweight.
easily maybe of all
Now,
time, right?
yeah, the thing about
But
it is though, him moving up to heavyweight,
mm-hmm.
and well, he had the thing with super middleweight, but actually his run was like there light heavyweight. In light heavyweight, he just pretty much like dominated, at that particular point, and then he went up to heavyweight to fight, John Ruiz to win that version of the world title then, and then at that particular point, it was almost like he was or getting close to being the greatest ever, and
He had
it was.
He had the Tarver fight. He had the Chris Bird fight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the thing is like when he had that win over, just going through that real quick, when he had that win over Ruiz, it was like a thing where he could have fought Mike Tyson. It was like real close to having that fight happen, and then something like kind of like nixed that fight, and then he ended up going back down to light heavyweight and having that first fight against Antonio Tarver, where it was a very close bout. And then that rematch, him going for the rematch, that pretty much like kind of still thing. But if he was able to, I thought that at that point when he was at heavyweight fight Mike Tyson at that point, if he would have beat Mike Tyson then and just said, you know what, I'm done, man, he probably would have been considered as probably like one of the greatest fighters of all time. And that's the thing though. I don't know if like people currently consider Roy Jones among the greatest of all time, but during his run there at super middleweight and like heavyweight, he was like the most dominant fighter that anybody had ever seen.
Well, that super middleweight, that weight class was just so ideal and so perfect for him. And I wish I could have seen him staying it longer. I think because what's his name came through there, didn't he? Adrian Ware?
Andre Ward?
Yeah, Andre Ward. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Didn't he have to step through there for a little bit?
Andre Ward was there, but that was like real,
years.
like really on the late, because he was like almost coming up when in the back half of Roy's career.
Yeah, so. But I'm wondering if Roy had held it down in super instead of because Roy was looking for the paycheck because they kept dangling this Mike Tyson proverbial fight in front of his eyes, and he kept saying, "Well, I want to work my way into it so I could take on Tyson," and that's I think why he was facing like when he fought Chris Bird. Didn't he fight Bird at heavyweight too? If I'm not mistaken.
Nah.
They went to light heavyweight or cruiser.
Who?
Chris Bird.
Chris Bird was like up there at heavyweight, but they didn't they didn't lock horns at heavyweight or at light heavyweight or cruiserweight.
What they fight at?
Nah, Jones and Bird?
Yeah.
Nah. They didn't have a fight.
Chris Bird and Roy Jones never fought each other?
Nope.
I thought for sure they met.
Nah. Not sure where you got that, because the thing was
I'm thinking about Anton. Never mind, I'm thinking about Anton Bird. from back in the day.
Yeah, and man. So shout out to Zoe, man. Yeah, he never fought Chris Bird. Yeah. He said, Matt Gomez says Roy was dominant at the '88 Olympics. After the belt, and he took silver, man. Yeah, Roy Jones, he had never, had forgiven that particular part, man. Yeah, Chris Bird was heavyweight in the '90s. There, like he had that fight against Klitschko, Chris Bird. So he did have that. You know what I'm saying?
And Chris Bird, let's see, Ike. Yeah, go take this into the living room. I'm sorry about that. So Chris Bird, he took on David Tua, though.
So yeah, because you had Bird, of course, winning that bout against Klitschko, where what it was, Klitschko had an injury or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And he ended up getting that win or whatnot against Vladimir. What was it? Vitaly Klitschko, but lost twice to Vladimir Klitschko on that. You know what I'm saying? He did fight Tua though in 2001 though.
Okay.
Yeah, he beat Tua in 2001, and he had that win over Evander Holyfield. So he Chris Bird has had like a very underrated career, man. Particularly in the heavyweight division, he had a very underrated career. But he faced some real fighters there at heavyweight, being at around 215, around the 215 range, whatnot. Yeah, he was like one of those guys that took on big dudes though. Yeah, torn shoulders, Vitaly. Yeah. But Vitaly was beating him up though. Yeah, so I'm gonna link you up here in a bit. But yeah, that the thing with Roy Jones though, he had a definitely a great run there, super middleweight, light heavyweight, particularly light heavyweight. He dominated there, and then having that win at heavyweight over John Ruiz to win that world title there, and then you had to see what I really wanted to know, like if he was going to what he would do if he stayed there at heavyweight, instead of going back down to light heavyweight.
With the Tarver bout,
yeah.
And then after that he was it was never the same for Jones.
Yeah. I don't know. I think you might be talking about Chris Bird first, like oh. No, the thing with Roy Jones, he said beating John Ruiz, the worst heavyweight champ that was available at the time. Yeah, man. Yeah, but I also sent you links so that you'll be able to jump on in that conversation there in a little bit. But yeah, Roy Jones was one of those guys that I said one of the most talented fighters in the modern era. That we've seen. So. Yeah, I thought that like if he would have just went up, like I said, just started out at like middleweight for a little bit, had a couple fights there, super middleweight, dominated at light heavyweight, was like undisputed champion light heavyweight for some time, and then went up, won that title at heavyweight, and then if he stayed at heavyweight for a couple more fights,
a
few big fights there, and won, it would have been wild there.
We could have seen it. We could have seen something really interesting with it. Like did he? So. On Chris Bird, didn't he lose to both Klitschko brothers, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah. So the thing about it was that like he had the win over Vitaly, but he fought Vladimir. He fought Vladimir twice. The thing with Vitaly was Vitaly only had that loss to Bird due to the injury, and then the thing with Lennox Lewis. So that's it. But we got our next guest here jumping up in the conversation. Is Zoe in the building, man. I can't even see what he had as a caption there. But Zoe, what's going on with you, man?
Man, I hear you guys talk about real boxers, actual boxers. So I had to jump in. We're not talking about these little divas today. I heard you guys talking about some real names, so I had to jump in. I got excited.
Memory lane.
Yeah, memory lane back when boxers was boxing. But look, what I want to say is Roy Jones had no reason not to rematch James Toney at either cruiserweight after James Toney was coming out the Vasily Girov fight, or he could have rematched him at heavyweight when James Toney was coming off the Holyfield fight.
Yeah.
But we know Roy Jones. But we know what Roy Jones' nickname was. As talented as he was, reluctant Roy. We know what he was about, bro.
Yeah, that was the thing though, man. I really wanted to see that rematch with James Toney at either cruiserweight, well, particularly cruiserweight, and the thing with heavyweight was like, when Toney beat up Evander Holyfield at that particular point, he was pretty much at the top of his game there at heavyweight at that time. So it would have been intriguing to see that at that time instead of us getting a rematch with Roy Jones and Bernard Hopkins that ended up being
I think what we got next was that robbery, Roy Jones versus Tarver robbery.
Yeah, we did get the Roy Jones Harvard rivalry, but that's something that we kind of like had. Um, yeah, that's another one of them what ifs there. You know what I'm saying?
That's a big what if, man. That's a big. I don't know why Roy Jones didn't do it, man. It's either like I understand. Like I felt like at that point he beats Mike Tyson. He should have took that fight. He beats Mike Tyson at that point. You
Yeah,
feel me? That
I brought that up. That that fight was like real close to happening, and all of a sudden it just didn't come to fruition, and it ended up just being like another one of those what ifs, man. So
yeah. Both those names was more attractive than screwing your legacy over the Antonio Tarver fight.
Yeah, for sure.
Those other losses, if you lose to James Toney, people could overlook that. You feel me? Mike Tyson, people like, you was a heavyweight, he caught you. We could overlook that. Tarver, man, like Tarver's a decent counter puncher, but come on, bro. That's like, what you rank him, a B- fighter at best, man? Well, come on, bro.
Wasn't Tarver getting into the movies at that time or a little bit after? Something like
that?
No,
not yet.
After.
He got into the movie. Yeah, he got into the movies right before the Bernard Hopkins fight. He got on the Rocky right before the Bernard Hopkins fight.
Oh, that's right. The Rocky Balboa.
Yeah. Mason Dixon.
Mason
that's like one of the names in the Evander Holyfield Real Deal Boxing for the Sega Genesis or greatest heavyweights for the Sega Genesis. Like it said Mason Dixon or something like that because it was like a play on Mike Tyson, basically, like a play of the combination of the words or something like that. But I think there was a Mason Dixon that did something prior to the Mason Dixon lines. I think there was something that went along those lines back in the fighting days too.
Man.
It was. I don't know why they use that name though. I don't know, man. That was wild.
Yeah, I like that movie though. I liked it.
True. Now you so you was talking about when we you were kind of like criticizing what these current fights that are coming up that was talking about, like of course with Teofimo Lopez joint and with him Claggett. Yeah.
Yo, I watched film on Steve Claggett. Yo, he fucking sucks.
I thought you were getting ready to tell us he's gonna go hard to paint when he comes out there.
Fucking sucks, man. He's made or to put it this way, Teofimo said after the Jermaine Ortiz fight, he said he doesn't want to fight somebody that's gonna move around, and voila. And we got this guy, voila. This guy sucks. Like there's nothing. He just comes up with his hands up in a high guard and throw a couple of jabs. You feel me? There's nothing there. Tio's gonna stop him in 5, but that guy sucks something awful, bro.
Man, yeah, I think that's the thing that people are looking to see there with Teofimo Lopez, because like I said, that fight against Jermaine Ortiz, man, it was that was not good at all, man, and that was supposed to be a showcase fight there for Teofimo Lopez, and then you end up having that happening.
Bro, he lost. I don't care nobody say he lost.
And you know what? What's so bad? We were talking about odds there for like the previous fights here with J-Pile on here, but the odds for Lopez versus Claggett, they got Teofimo Lopez at minus 1,100.
Oh wow!
Listen, I don't gamble, so I don't know what that means.
Oh man, that means like what I would say 11 to 1, basically. You know what I'm saying? 11 to 1.
So are you saying Vegas is acknowledging that Claggett sucks?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. There's a simpler way to say that. There's a simpler way to say that with this number stuff. He sucks.
Yeah. That's pretty much like how they're viewing it.
I'm not watching that fight. I'm about to see Estrada versus Bam, and depending what type of performance Bam put on, I might put him on my top 5 pound for pound, depending on how he wins.
Wow.
Yeah, so I mentioned that some people were thinking about putting Bam Rodriguez there around that top 5 pound for pound there. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I currently have him, at number 8 pound for pound or whatnot. But of course,
I got him number 10.
But a couple of people that I have above him. Of course, one of them you really don't like at all.
Yeah, Tank. Yeah. You a sheep. You're a sheep.
Come on, man.
There's no logical reason for Tank to be. Yo, Matt Gomez, Sander Martin is a B-class fighter. Steve Claggett is an F-class fighter. It will not happen. Teo can show up. Teo can show up with full-blown AIDS. With his immunity compromised, he'll win that fight.
Dang. So the Claggett simulations are a lie. Then they're not true. The people that run in the simulation, the boxing simulators, are saying Claggett's gonna pull out the win.
Man, he sucks and he's Canadian.
All right.
Oh.
He's not winning. That's two strikes against him. He sucks and he's Canadian. He's not winning this fight.
Oh, baby, it's not gonna be not a good look there for Steve Claggett coming into this, man. Like I was mentioning, I'm like all them fights that he had there over in Canada, and he's already had like what seven losses.
Yeah,
man. Like
that's a lot of.
I don't even know how he became like ranked 10th in the WBO, but I think they probably just put him in there.
Barbarian paid that fight just so he could justify the fight. He paid him.
There was a lot of home cooking in Canada over the years. We saw that time and time again where we were like, oh no, they're not going to Canada, are they? And then when they get over there, then they get those raw decisions going to the Canadian fighter over our U.S. fighters that usually clearly whoop one of them. We saw that time and again. Hometown cooking.
Yeah, it do be happening sometimes. Out there in Canada, but. Here, you got Claggett coming over to pretty much Teofimo's home area, basically, because he's now, residing out there in Miami and getting this fight.
He's from Miami. That Brooklyn story is fake.
What? He says it's 100% fake.
You know that story is fake. Like, how come all the boxers from Brooklyn all say the same thing? Zab, everybody say the same thing. They don't know this guy. I can tell you from personal experience that I know him from Plantation, Florida. He used to be part of the Police Athletic League. That's where he used to box in Plantation, Florida. So I remember that as him younger. So I don't know where this Brooklyn stuff came from, though. I think it's just marketing.
Oh,
He's
from Broward County, fam. He's from Broward County.
Broward County. Oh man.
Yeah.
John, you gonna be out there in Miami this year, October? Are you coming out there to Miami or no?
Where for what?
TipCon. Yeah, October 3rd to the 6th.
Oh, October 3rd to 6th, man. I gotta see what's up with that, man, and get the details on that. I don't know. I might be around that area, for that week or that weekend. So
I'm just asking because I know you go out to the fights. In person.
Yeah,
so
dude.
I didn't know if there was some fight coming up that you were going to be in Florida around that time. We can link up.
Well, around that time, there's the thing with fights, but there's also like usually festivals around that time in October, but I don't know if it's going to be that particular weekend or the following weekend. So I have to check.
All right. Get back with me.
Yeah.
Yo, JR, last time I was on your show, I was so upset by the blasphemy you and the other guy was talking about Jose Pedraza. Yeah, that fictional stories I tell about Jose Pedraza. I was so angry that I wasn't thinking straight and I forgot to bring up a fight. What's that British dude he fought when he cut the British dude and then the British dude proceeded to beat the fuck out of him and he got robbed?
Who, Pedraza?
Yeah. It was a British nigga. He cut the British nigga like early in the fight. He probably cut him in round 3. And then after that, the British dude proceeded to beat the fuck out of Pedraza. You probably didn't see the fight because it was in the UK. You feel me? So you probably didn't see it. But I remember that fight. That's when the fight when I said Pedraza sucks, and I never changed my mind.
In the UK, man. Yeah. I'm looking. I don't see it. I don't see it if it was in the UK because I don't see a fight that Pedraza had in the UK.
Okay, if it was in the UK, it wasn't in America. But it's a fight where he cut the dude. The dude got cut. The dude got cut. I just can't remember the name. The dude got cut and then proceeded to beat that shit out of Jose Pedraza. Tank's so-called best win. This killer at 126 that y'all was trying to push to me. This killer.
I don't know if that fight wasn't at 126 though. That was what, 130. So yeah, super featherweight. I don't know, man. I had to look that joint up, man. I don't know which one it is, man.
Listen.
But yeah.
Listen, man, I know you being paid, JR. I know you getting that TGB stimulus package to lie about Tank's resume. I know you're part of the match media.
Man, I wish. Dog. Come on, man. If you think if I was getting paid by anybody, like I would, trust me, you would see me having pretty much like videos every single day of that type of
I
stuff.
don't know, man. Your equipment look pretty fancy there, bro. I don't know. You tell me. You tell me.
Man, come on, man. I'm only using the camera from the laptop, man. Don't
Man, don't be modest. Don't be modest. Who the laptop came from?
I bought it, man. This is a used
TGB,
laptop.
courtesy of TGB promotion.
Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that, man. Come on. They ain't how that goes, man.
I gotta check on these babies. JR, salute. I gotta go get these kids. I appreciate you for having me on, man.
Hey, once again, man, happy birthday to you, man.
Oh, happy birthday, fam.
Hey, appreciate it. God bless.
God bless.
Check out Jay Powell on your YouTube, man, for sure, man.
Yo, who's Lamont Roach is fighting,
Friday
but
night.
he's fighting somebody. I've been trying to look film of this guy and I can't find it, so I'm just gonna assume this guy sucks.
Oh man. Hey, listen. Hey, I try to look to find the past couple fights that Feargal McCrory had that was over at the theater in Madison Square Garden. Man, those were his last two fights. So I'm gonna see if they were like part of like one of them. Like they had the Brooklyn boxing type cards or whatever it was.
What did you with they mixed it with MMA type shit?
I think this wasn't mixed with MMA, but they had these things under Tom Loeffler. Yeah, that's.
Oh yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, they were promoted through Tom Loeffler, so it was under that UFC Fight Pass joint. You know what I'm saying? So those were his last two joints.
I got a question for you. Like, bear with me here. If Bam beats Estrada and he moves up to 118, how does a fight between him and Junto Nakatani play out?
Woo! I mean that to me is like one of the fights that I would look forward to there within those weight classes. Man, is Junto Nakatani and Bam Rodriguez. I don't know, man, because Nakatani, boy,
he's big. He got a long ass jab. You feel me? He's like, it's gonna be whether can Bam's footwork be able to make him work around that technical reach and jab and shit. And then based off the people I know, the people from LA, from the California area in the boxing scene, they tell me Junto Nakatani done went all the way up in LA and beat everybody's ass up in them sparring, bro. I done heard that from several people.
Yeah. See, that was my thing, was that I don't know if Nakatani is gonna be hanging around there at 118.
He might be thinking Inoue at 122. That's a big fight in Japan. That's a super event in Japan.
That's a super fight in Japan.
Yeah, that's their Super Bowl, though. But I don't know. I think he should, because I think he should stick around for Bam first, because I think Bam's a more winnable fight than Inoue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the thing with Inoue is that I think he's gonna he could stay there at like 122 there for a little bit longer, man. Even though they said that they might try to have him set up for a fight for that WBO title against Espinoza. They had that recent stoppage win, but I'm saying you still have Espinoza that could have a rematch with Robeisy Romero.
Good. Romero has to look good against whatever that scrub he's fighting. He has to blow this good scrub.
Saturday, yeah. So,
man, listen, what you gonna call it? Nakatani, bro. Nakatani I think he should fight Inoue in a unification, Takuma Inoue, and then once he knock out Inoue, he calls out the older brother.
Yeah, yeah, because what is it? The father trains both Takuma and Naoya, so we had that. So yeah, Nakatani gets that, man. But I say he could easily be the undisputed at bantamweight right now.
Yeah, he can. And here's another thing. Since we were talking about 126. I think 126 sucks. You feel me? I think they suck. But in a year from now, we might have Figueroa as a title holder. We might have Stephen Fulton as a title holder. Then I don't think Ramirez is beating Espinoza, and then Bruce Carrington. Those are some big ass 126 pounders for anywhere to go tackle. That's a real challenge. These are big boys.
Yeah. Yep. They are.
That would solidify him in my eye. That would solidify him. Like, I really move him so high in my mythical pound for pound list, bro, all time. If he did that, if he cleaned out all those giants, bro.
Yeah, 126, man. Yeah, that would be definitely something. He would be like, of course, one of the greatest. He would be one of the greatest fighters of our generation easily if he was able to do that and have a run like that at 126.
Man, I put him ahead of I swear to God, I put him ahead of Pacquiao as the best Asian fighter of all time.
I can see that. He says Matt Gomez. Shout out to Matt Gomez in the chat. He says that Kermel Moton will dominate that division. I don't know if he's going to be at 126 anyway. Like he'll probably be at 130 once he gets.
How's he going to dominate the division when Moss is going to turn professional soon? You know, Moss is going to get in his ass again. We know that.
Oh man, that'd be something, man. Those were some real. You made Moses. You know what I'm saying? You said Zakeem Moses there, but that's definitely going to be something. You know what I mean?
I haven't seen enough of him to formulate an opinion yet.
Oh, through Moton?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because he only had that, one profile fight that was out there, in March against Cuba, and like I said, that one he was there at like 132. You know what I'm saying? So we gotta see where his next fight's gonna be at.
How old is he? Is he 18
he was
yet?
scheduled to be on the last fight card that we had. I don't know.
Is he 18 yet?
Yeah, he's 18.
Okay, yeah, man. I don't know. I have to see more of him because even as an amateur, I didn't really see much of him, bro. So I don't know. They say he's like Tank. That's what they saying. That's what they say. They say he's like a Tank clone, apparently.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, that's what they've been, kind of like linking him to. So I have to see how that fares for him, because what was it, like his last bout? Oh, okay, yeah, he faced a guy there at 130, in the lightweight division, there when he's kind of they're supposed to be at super featherweight. So I don't know if he's gonna try to have another one of these or a few more fights here at super featherweight and try to establish himself at that weight class here, because he's just 18, so we still got some growing to do.
Man, if they compare this nigga, they say he's supposed to be the next Tank, then there's nothing to take serious. An average fighter with great promotion. What they do?
Oh man, here we go with that. What else we got, man? I talked about that whole joint with Lamont Roach Jr. and Feargal McCrory. Yeah, man. But come on, man. I mean, I have those interviews there with Lamont Roach Jr. Also with Derek Scooter Davis, and also have it with Greg Outlaw Jr. Sharpshooter Outlaw. So you have that fight card that's going to be in its entirety on Pro Box TV on YouTube, and I'll be over there at the arena live, for those fights.
Sonny Edwards fight this week, right?
Yep. Yeah, we were talking about that before you got on. There, Sonny Edwards is facing Adrian Curiel. They added it onto that card there for Bam versus Estrada. So you had Jay on here. He's picking Curiel, and I'm like, hey, that's interesting. Curiel's coming off a
loss, coming off on stoppage loss, and don't reason he beat the guy the reason he beat the guy in the first fight, because for no reason he decided not to throw any punches. The second fight, the moment he decided to throw, he knocked your ass out.
Yeah. So
they tripping. Sonny Edwards is one of the top 5 greatest white people ever created. Don't disrespect him.
He probably has one of the better Twitter accounts out there.
The best one, bro. Like, best one, bro. He should be the blueprint to show all white people there's hope. There's hope. There's hope to be cool and shit, dog. There's Sonny Edwards.
Man, but yeah, he's gonna see about getting back in the game. Like I said, he's been doing some work there with Bam Rodriguez and whatnot. So he was working with Bam Rodriguez in camp too. So he should be pretty good to go here against Adrian Curie. I'll let that bout. You know what I mean? So you had that. You have some fights that are on Golden Boy tomorrow. So you got that, and then the Friday cards, the Pro Box TV. You also have OTX Boxing, OTX 8 on the Zone. We got the Wolf there. You know what I'm saying? Elijah Pierce, he's coming up in the rankings. They're at 122 pounds. So he's headlining in that one against Jose San Martin. You're gonna also have Lorenzo Truck Simpson on that card. Malik Montgomery's on that card. Tiara Brown's on that card on the Zone. So there's few fights that you can watch on Friday night, and then the 2 cards on Saturday night. So it's gonna be a busy weekend out there too, man. You also, what was it, earlier today? You had a press conference over in the UK, their Wembley Stadium, of course, scheduled for September. It'll be Anthony Joshua versus Daniel Dubois now for the IBF Championship. Yeah, the IBF be IBFing, but that particular mandatory was well overdue. So they just said, you know what, hey, we'll go ahead and strip Alexander Usyk anyway. I mean, they don't really care, what your status is or what your profile is. They'll strip you regardless. So hey, I mean, for Usyk, I mean, if he's having a rematch with Tyson Fury, I mean, that's more money that he could keep, in his pocket, so you don't have to pay them sanction fees. But for this one, Anthony Joshua versus Daniel Dubois. Of course, Daniel Dubois has scored a couple of good wins. After his loss to Alexander Usyk, defeating Jarrell Miller and having the stoppage there, when he went up and also that's 2 stoppages actually there where he had the stoppage over Jarrell Miller and then over Philip Hrgović there, but he's going up against Anthony Joshua, of course, former 2-time unified champion. And going off of that last fight that Daniel Dubois had against Philip Hrgović, man, if Hrgović had like any type of gas or some hot behind his punches, Dubois would have
gets knocked out in round 1 if because he got hit with like 56 left hands in round 1 consecutively.
Yeah, like he had no defense of that, right hand, dude.
Yeah. Joshua's too smart for that, bro. Like you're gonna have to really pull up a Victor Ortiz versus Andre Berto performance. You're gonna have to walk through some type of fire to get that victory, bro. Because skill wise, you don't got it.
Yeah, you don't have it at all, man. You don't have it at all.
Yeah. But look, if Anthony Joshua wins, he joins Holyfield and Muhammad Ali as the only triple people to win the heavyweight champion.
Yeah, 3-time heavyweight champions. But I mean, the thing about it is, man, it's like, I don't see a route of where Dubois would win this fight unless if like Anthony Joshua has some type of sickness, leading into the fight or some injury of sorts, man. Because
or they just get into an exchange and Dubois gets lands first.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think Joshua is gonna make that mistake like he made against Andy Ruiz in that first fight. And I'm liking the pairing that he has there with
Ben Davidson
or Ben Davidson. Yeah, him being there with Joshua full time over in the UK. Yeah, they're looking really, really nice there as far as that particular pairing is concerned.
Yeah, man. I think if Anthony Joshua beat Dubois, man, and he starts another reign, especially if Anthony Joshua retires, especially if Usyk retire, who out there you see can beat him that's left?
Nobody.
Joshua could really go on another reign right now. You feel me? If once Usyk retire, he could go on another reign, bro. That's crazy.
Yeah, well, I mean, he could, do things where he could have another run of about 3 or 4 years and dominate the heavyweight division, and the thing about it is though, is that I still think that he wants one of those fights with either
Wilder or Fury. I
Fury.
agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I think the Fury fight is still in play, even if Fury loses to Usyk. It's still in play.
Yeah.
The Wilder fight, I kind of
Yeah.
like it's over.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's over.
It's over. Zhang didn't want to follow the script like somebody care about him.
Yeah, man. He didn't follow the script, man. What he said, what's up with Jared Anderson?
Nothing, he just sucked. He's mentally fragile. He don't suck, he just mentally fragile. He's not built for this sport.
It's almost like he's not really interested in the sport as much as the thing. But
I feel like he's looking for one big fight.
I think something happened when he kind of like moved to Houston or some shit, because like he, when he was out there with Jay Prince and them folks out there in Houston, man, it's like something went over him, man. Because we didn't see this I'm only 23 type stuff when he was, just there over in his home area in Toledo, Ohio, man.
Yes.
Once he moved to Houston, it's like, yo, where's this stuff coming from, yo?
I think he's just looking for one big fight that's gonna give him double, like 10 figures, and he's just gonna be good with that, win or lose.
7 figures, whatnot. Hey, man, I don't know. Some folks saying that he might not get past the McCrory fight.
I agree. I'm not saying he loses, but it's not an easy fight. It's not an easy fight, and I don't even think much of McCrory, but I think style-wise, it's not gonna be an easy fight.
Yeah, it's not gonna be easy there for Jared
Bridget,
Anderson, man.
Put up for a second, Joe. Bridget, you can turn off the AC.
What's that?
Not you. Yeah, but I think the McCrory, man. Bro, listen, man, fuck all that. Jared Anderson. I don't know. Outside of Jared Anderson, who else do we have in America? That's the only person?
That's the only person, man.
Oh, it's over, man. America's going on another drought.
That's the only person as far as like American heavyweights, man. Like you definitely don't see anybody else out there.
What about Torres?
Oh, you have Torres, yeah, but you also have someone else that's trying to make a name in there, Michael Hunter. But where's Michael Hunter going to fit into the heavyweight division here at this point?
I got a question. If Michael Hunter didn't have to make weight versus Usyk, does he beat Usyk? Because that's the best performance against Usyk out of everybody who fought Usyk. Michael Hunter had the best performance, and he was also weight drained. And he took the fight out of last minute. So how would he have done if he had a full training camp?
That would have been interesting there. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know, because that's been his lone loss. And, that was their cruiser? Yeah, cruiserweight. So
cruiserweight, bro. And then he gave like outside of that fight in the don't make me pronounce the other dude name, the dude who just lost to the Australian guy. Mm-hmm. Don't make me pronounce those people's names. Like those two fights are the hardest fights I've seen Usyk have.
Oh yeah. But also the thing with Michael Hunter, he's the guy that was the only dude to beat McCrory.
Yep. But look, he said Big Baby would beat King Ruiz. Like what Ruiz? Andy Ruiz?
Oh, you talking about Andy Ruiz and Miller?
Oh, you talking about Gerald Miller? Man, Gerald Miller, man, come on, bro. I already signed a petition and listen, I said I don't want to see him on TV unless he has permission to juice. Horrible, bro. Fucking horrible on steroids.
Like I said, Joey Spencer versus Vito Milnicki Jr.
I never want to see Joey Spencer on television. A guy, I hate watching that guy.
Man, I don't even know where he's at this particular point, man. Because
I'm happy.
After Ramos beat him up, he's only had one. Well, he's only had one fight since, right? And outside of that, I don't know, man. Especially since he had been part of the whole thing with the Heyman Boxing. So we don't know like where he's gonna be at this particular point. You know what I mean?
Man, I don't like Joey Spencer. I'm glad he's not on TV no more because at one point I felt like the PBC was forcing him. Like I don't want to see him. Like at one point they was force feeding him to us. Like, bro, I don't want to see this guy.
Yeah, he had like that James Martin fight in 2021 and a couple of other fights, out there that he was part of the PBC card. So when he fought like Jesus Ramos, it was like, come on, man, that they pretty much served him up in that one, man. So that was a bad look there for Joey Spencer. But as far as like him fighting Vito, I don't know. Like Vito just signed with Top Rank. They're having him have a couple fights here and there. Shout out to Vito Nicky Jr. Man, he's putting in work out there in Houston there with Coach Ronnie Shields too. So he's had work out there with David Morrell Jr. and a few, and they have a number of other guys there within 154 pounds that are in that camp as well too. So he's definitely getting some work there and getting himself prepared because. They said like, hey, he might be matched up with Xander Zayas in the future. There,
Xander Zayas beat his ass, man.
Okay,
before I leave, I want to say this: Tank sucks.
Oh my god. Well, I mean, he looks like he's on the route to face Vasily Lomachenko.
Okay, I think that fight is gonna. This how this fight is gonna turn out. Tank's gonna get embarrassed, but Lomachenko at this stage makes too many defensive mistakes, and he's gonna get caught. But he's gonna look good before he gets knocked out. He's gonna embarrass him before he gets knocked out, but he is gonna get knocked out. I think it might be a body shot.
Yeah, the thing about it is that with Lomachenko, he doesn't really do a good transition from like defense to offense. Like it's almost like he's not a catch and shoot type of fighter or a slip and counter type of fighter. So yeah, I like to see how that fight plays out. But yeah,
my thing is does Tank has the educated footwork? I know Tank fans will say that, but I haven't seen it yet. Does Tank have the type of educated footwork to match and predict where Loma's going the way Jermaine Ortiz and Tank was able? I mean, T was able to do in the first half of the fight before Loma made the adjustment, start making them go backwards, and all that shit was over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got to see that. I mean, we kind of like seeing some elements there against Frank Martin, but the thing about it is that like Frank Martin kind of like tired himself out a little bit, there. He was moving a lot in that first half of the fight.
You know what I described Frank Martin as? Jordan Poole.
Was that?
Jordan Poole.
Oh.
He's athletic, he has the skills, is there, but he doesn't have the IQ to put it together to be a elite fighter. Like Jordan Poole got the skills, he got the handles, he got the shot, but he doesn't have the basketball IQ to make everything work. And that's what I think of Frank Martin is.
Oh, man. Shout out to Supreme Beast Boxing Talk. Of course, part of the community out here in the DC area, man. Salute to the bro out here listening and live on the Midweek Report, man. Matt Gomez disagrees. He says that Tank jockeys into position and then gets in his shots. I ain't saying that last two part, man.
That sounds crazy.
Yeah, that sounds wild, man. That sounds wild.
I think Tank's gonna have a real hard time, like making sure like Loma stays still. So whenever he gets a chance, he's gonna have to blast the body to try to slow him down in the lower rounds. And hopefully, he can land the one big point.
I would say this. I think with Lomachenko, you're really going to see like how good Tank Davis could cut off the ring, or what his ability is to cut off the ring there against Lomachenko. Because Lomachenko is going to be utilizing all parts of the ring as far as like.
I don't think so. I think Loma's gonna it's gonna be a lot of footwork, but I don't think it's gonna be a lot of utilizing. There's gonna be a lot of pivot, spinning, turning, spin. Like if he can try to keep it in the center of the ring, he's not gonna circle around like Shakur would.
Yeah, but the thing about it is that it is Tank gonna be able to like analyze that and try to see like where Lomachenko's going to move, and then throw off of that to where, you know, like Lomachenko would move right into it. Like, say for example, if Lomachenko would move to, you know, his left, is Tank gonna, you know, try to catch him with a right hook or something like that before he tries to move away? You know what I'm saying? Move off.
And another thing I want to know is, I seen Tank take a punch, but I want to see if Tank can take sustained punches, because Loma punches hard. Loma does have power, but I think Loma's going to be able to hit him consistently. I want to see if Tank doesn't wilt over consistent punch. I seen him get hit with big shots, but not consistent big shots. I want to see how he reacts to that.
Well, consistent big shots, because he got hit with, like, you know, some combinations there, at least particularly back with that Leo Santa Cruz fight. But is it going
Leo Santa Cruz, man? What power that guy has, but he didn't even have power at 122.
That's the thing about it. Leo Santa Cruz is a volume puncher. He's not necessarily a power puncher, you know. So there was that. So we got to see how that works there on that instance.
And I want to know, like, because a lot of people have been saying Tank has improved his conditioning over the years. This is the fight we're gonna find out if he did.
Yeah. I mean, that kind of like that was the thing that, like, you know, some folks were pointing out there with Tank Davis, as far as like when he was, you know, preparing for his fight against Frank Martin, is that, you know, it's not necessarily anything to where he's, you know, trying to get down to a certain weight or whatever it is. He's like already around that particular weight, and all he has to do is just, you know, work in as far as like being in the ring and that type of stuff. Like nothing with, you know, that much calisthenics or exercise or any of that type of stuff.
Don't be surprised if this fight ended up looking like Canelo Bivol.
I don't know.
With more offense from Loma, and not instead of one step back and coming back in with combos, going to be more turns and spins and pivots. It won't just be
spins. But the thing about it is, well, he is going to be the taller fighter, I guess, in this instance. But the thing with Tank Davis, though, right, is that he has dimensions that are kind of like unique to a fighter of his height. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like you know how folks kind of describe Floyd Mayweather, or how they describe Terrence Crawford. You know what I mean? That he has like a long reach there for his height, because he says his reach is at 67, which is, you know, longer reach than what Vasyl Lomachenko has.
I mean, shit. That's not the first time Loma's been had the reach disadvantage.
Yeah. So he says Bivol figured out the TL style of Canelo Alvarez. Yeah. But, you know, the thing with Bivol was he had the size and the reach, and he could like move in and out. So yeah, like you were saying there. So as far as like moving up, you know, to one side or, you know, to the other side there for Lomachenko, that's going to be a key factor in about against Tank Davis, and how Tank Davis will be able to deal with that. But, you know, like I was saying, I think with Tank, it's going to be, is he going to try to figure out those movements of Lomachenko and then try to come off of that, and like, say, for example, if he has like a high guard and tries to move forward, and then if, you know, Lomachenko does like, you know, combinations, that type of stuff, or just like what I would say, a 1-1-2, where he would, you know, just do a like a pat off the two jabs there from the right, since he's southpaw, 2 jabs from the right, and then just try to, you know, land solid with the left and then move off of that. You know what I mean? So you pretty much have to figure out if he's going to be able to do that type of stuff there, man. But yeah, what is it about? Yeah, 1 hour and 30 minutes in, man. You know, pretty much like gonna bring this all to a close. Of course, a great conversation there, of course, with Lozo. And shout out once again to Jay Pylon for joining in here to the Midweek Report. Like I said, it's going to be a busy weekend this weekend. A whole lot of fights for fight fans to enjoy. Be sure to like check them all out.
Hold up for a second. Let me say this. Matt Gomez, you said Adonis Stevenson would have drilled Bivol. I'm Haitian, and I think you're smoking coke, and I'm Haitian.
Thing about Bivol is he was a mover, he's a great mover. So I don't know if Stevenson, how Stevenson would be able to deal with that.
I'm Haitian. I don't believe that shit. That's crazy.
Yeah. With that being said, yeah, that is the June 26, 2024 edition of the Boxing Source Midweek Report. Be sure to like and share here so that people can enjoy the analysis that I have for a lot of these fights that are coming up this weekend. Of course, I did mention the whole thing with Joshua versus Daniel Dubois that's going to be coming up in September, and the potential fight here with Tank Davis versus Vasily Lomachenko. So we got a whole lot of action that's being planned here, this year. So y'all go ahead and be on the lookout and support, those fights and whatnot. So we'll get right back at it here on Sunday to assess all of the action that happened over the weekend. Do have, press conference tomorrow to go ahead and attend, and of course a fight card that's on Friday, and then we got the action on Saturday there, man. So you know what I mean. So there's that. But with that being said, that's it for the Midweek Report, y'all. I'll check y'all later. Peace out.